Okay, so hello and welcome back, guys. And today I will be doing the third preview of the third division. So we have still one division to go, but today we will be concentrating on the Central Division as it will be in the upcoming season 2020-2021. So actually also the teams from Florida will be in the Central Division, which is kind of weird, but that's just how they set it up. And yeah, let's start with a preview. So just let's jump right into it. And the first team that I have on the board, these teams are arranged in the alphabetical order. So starting with Carolina and finishing with Tampa Bay Lightning. So Carolina, what about Carolina? The Canes actually have a very good 2 seasons behind them. So a season 17-18, 83 points. But then really 18-19, that was a great season for Carolina, 99 points. The last season, of course, they were estimated to have after the full 82 games schedule, 98 points. And of course, in Carolina, the whole hockey just absolutely exploded with also the storm surge coming. Just the fan base really, I think, grew a lot in Carolina, and it was thanks to a great play of this team. And I think that Carolina is one of the most fun teams to watch. Actually, probably Carolina is my favorite team to watch in the NHL when I have the opportunity. So let's just jump right into the basic stats for Carolina from the last season. So the power play for the Canes was last season 22%. It was 8th best in the league, so a really good solid power play for the Canes. Penalty kill averaging 84%, so that's 4th best in the league, so really good penalty kill as well for the Canes. They definitely will want to keep those special teams at least at that level that they had them in that last season. Goals for Carolina in the last season, 3.19, so that's 11th best in the league. Goals against, that's 2.84, that's also 11th best in the league. So kind of mediocre goals against and goals for, but it was enough for Canes to get into the playing rounds. Which players left Carolina? So the first notable player who left Carolina was Sami Vatanen. Let me just give me a second. Okay, I have here my notebook where I have the players which left and which came. I just wrote down on the board the most notable one. So for Carolina, another player which left was Williams, of course, playing his Mr. Game 7, playing his last season for Carolina. He officially will not be returning for the next season or for the playoffs. So Williams is also out, and the third player that I have here is Joel Edmundson. Also Edmundson will be out for Carolina. The players which are in, so in the offseason probably the only signing was Jesper Fast from New York Rangers. So I think that could be a great depth forward for the Canes. I have also here another two players, and that's Sami Vatanen and no, Sami Vatanen of course not, but Vincent Trocheck and Brady Shea. So Vincent Trocheck and Brady Shea, they arrived into Carolina like before the end of the regular season, so they haven't had their chances to play really a lot for the Canes, but they will have their chances in this upcoming season. So definitely also make sure to keep an eye on Vincent Trocheck and Brady Shea in Carolina. Okay, and the rookie which is coming up is probably the most notable is Bean. And low season, I think it was kind of a low year for Jordan Staal with 8 goals and 19 assists in 68 games played. He's getting definitely older, we all know that, but Jordan Staal definitely will be expected to score a little bit more points than he had in this last season. So that's overall for Carolina. Let's move to the Chicago. So Chicago, of course, the last 3 seasons have been very tough for the Chicago fans. 76 points in the season 17-18, a year after 84 points, and Chicago was also estimated in this last season to have 84 points after the full 82 games schedule. So really 3 kind of down years for Chicago, but of course Chicago has won Stanley Cups in years 2013, 2015, I do believe also 2011. So really when you win those Stanley Cups, It's like expected that this team will not be at that highest level forever, so there must be also some adversity. You must also come down a little bit, but Chicago should be only better from this point. The power play for Chicago in this last season, 15%, that was 28th best in the league. Penalty kill, 82%, that was 12th best in the league. So actually penalty kill pretty good. Power play, not that good power play for Chicago. Definitely they will want to improve this. Jeremy Colliton, the coach of the Hawks. When we look at goals for Chicago, 2.97, that was 18 best in the league. Goals against, 3.06, that was 16 best in the league. So kind of, at the middle of the table for Chicago, these statistics, goals for and goals against. Out players, the most notable probably Brandon Saad. Definitely Chicago fans will miss Brandon Saad. And then other players which left, it was Corey Crawford, of course, but you have Robin, you have also some replacements for Corey Crawford. Then also Oli Mata left, and Drake Kajula is also out. The players who arrived, the most notable probably Matthias Janmark, and other player was Nikita Zadorov, that came from Colorado to Chicago in this offseason. The rookie which Chicago fans will be looking at, probably the most notable, will be Michel. And the low year probably was low year for Kirby Dach. He had 9 goals and 14 assists, so a grand total of 25 points in 64 games played. Definitely it will be expected from Kirby Dach a little bit more this coming season, but of course Kirby Dach, as the captain of Canada, was very unfortunately injured in these juniors, World Juniors, that are played right now in Edmonton. So we will see how long it will take Kirby Dach to get back into form and to basically let his wrist get well again. So definitely we'll keep an eye on Kirby Dach and when he will be fully back for the Blackhawks. Okay, the next team on the board, Columbus Blue Jackets. So Columbus, actually pretty good seasons for Columbus, the last 3 in the regular season, however. 17-18 for Columbus, 97 points, 18-19, that famous season for Columbus, 98 points, but they were able to knock out Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round, 4-0. That was probably the biggest upset in the sports history, or definitely, if not the biggest, then one of the biggest sports upsets in the history. 19-20, 95 points for Columbus were expected after the full 82 game schedule. So power play for Columbus, for the team of John Tortorella last season, not that good. Not that good, 16%, 27th in the league. Penalty kill, 82%. That was 12th best in the league. So penalty kill definitely a lot better for Columbus. Goals for, 2.57, that was 27 best in the league, so not that good. But goals against, only 2.61, that was 3rd best in the league. So the defensive part of the game in Columbus is definitely a lot better than the offensive part of the game. Columbus is having some issues in the front, scoring goals, definitely not that good for Columbus, so they will definitely have to improve in this offensive part of the game. Max Domi just arrived in Columbus, so he will be one of the biggest additions for Columbus, and he will be the guy that John Tortorella will count on when it comes to scoring goals. So definitely Domi will be the one from who it will be expected to improve these statistics on power play and also in the goals for scoring category. Okay, so instead, when we don't count Domi, who arrived in Columbus, also Mikko Koivu, so the captain of Minnesota Wild. Also, I think Koivu could be a great addition for Columbus, a good fourth center, I think very solid player. So it's also Koivu is added to Columbus. Some players which left Columbus, the most notable Anderson, then when we don't count Anderson, also came also left Vemberg and Nutivara. So these 3 players are the most notable players which left Columbus in this offseason. Rookie which is coming up for the Blue Jackets, Liam Foudy, the most interesting one. And the low year it was for Max Domi in the jersey of Montreal Canadiens, of course. Domi only scored 17 goals and 27 assists. in 71 games played, so definitely more will be expected from Max Domi in this coming season. But we'll see if Max Domi will play, because we know that he has some troubles with diabetes and he didn't play in the last season playoffs, or there was some discussion if he will play or not. So it will be definitely interesting to see if Max Domi will play from the beginning, from the very start of the season. So another team which we have here is the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars, which came all the way to the Stanley Cup final in the last season. Stars in the season of 17-18, 92 points. 18-19, 93 points. 19-20 last season, they were projected to have 97 points in a full 82 games schedule. So definitely I think it was not expected from Dallas Stars to make it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. From the West, there were other teams that were expected to make it, like Las Vegas Golden Knights or Colorado Avalanche. These were definitely the two most favorized teams to make it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, but Dallas Stars just definitely shocked everyone, and they managed to do it, so kudos to them. And power play for Dallas Stars in the last season actually pretty good. 21%, 13 best in the league. Penalty kill, 80%, 17 best in the league. But defensive part of the game was really solid for the Stars overall, especially with the help of John Bishop in the net, with a great goaltender, averaging 2.52 goals against per game, second best defense in the whole NHL. So really they have to improve penalty kill in the next season. That's just what they have to do. With this good of a defense, they have to improve penalty kill definitely. And goals for 2.58, that was only 26 in the league. So Dallas Stars has some troubles with scoring goals. We all know that, it's no surprise. They don't have that great offensive talent, so they are compensating it with a just great defense. Okay, out Corey Perry, the former Anaheim Ducks player. So Corey Perry just a few days ago has signed a contract with Montreal Canadiens. So Corey Perry is out of Dallas, and other players which left, Matthias Janmark and Roman Polak, the Czech defender, will be no more playing for Dallas Stars. Which players came? The only notable player which came was Mark Pysyk from Florida. And rookie, probably the most notable one coming up for the Stars for the next season will be Harley, and it was low season for the captain of the Dallas Stars, Jamie Benn, with only 19 goals and 34 assists in 71 games played. Definitely also more will be expected from Jamie Benn in this coming season, but of course with this offense that Dallas has, it's very hard to score to average a point per game, but we'll see what Jamie Benn can do. But however, we must mention that there are some problems coming up for the Dallas Stars, at least in the beginning of this coming season, because Tyler Seguin will be out for the beginning of the season with a hip injury, and also who will be out? The great goaltender Bishop will also be out for the Dallas Stars till probably late March. So great problems for the Stars emerging in the beginning of this coming season. Okay, so right now, Detroit Red Wings, very hard season for Detroit overall. It must have been a great disappointment for the whole fan base of Detroit. Season 17-18, only 73 points. Season 18-19, 74 points. But oh my Dave, the last season, 19-20, the Detroit Red Wings were projected to have only 45 points after full 82 games schedule. And that's just very bad. That's just honestly 45 points. That's just really bad. Really bad. And also these statistics: power play 15%, 29 in the league. Penalty kill 74%, the worst in the league. Goals for only 2.00, worst in the league. Goals against 3.73, worst in the league. So I have one very positive thing for the fans of Detroit Red Wings. It cannot get any worse. It just cannot get worse. So definitely be sure that the Detroit Red Wings will have a better season than they had last season. Definitely. They have to get better. Like last two teams with the worst power play, they only 45 points. Definitely Detroit Red Wings have to get better this season. It just cannot get any worse. Okay, who is out? The goaltender Howard is out, and also Perlini and Abdelkader, probably the three most notable players which left Detroit in this offseason. The players which are in, Thomas Greiss, so really nice replacement for Jimmy Howard. Jimmy Howard, of course, the veteran, but Thomas Greiss, some great numbers for the Greiss in the last seasons. So he's coming from New York Islanders, and I kind of like that goaltender that Detroit will have next season. Thomas Greiss alongside Jonathan Bernier. I think that's pretty good goaltender. That definitely is pretty good goaltending tandem for Detroit Red Wings. Other players which joined Red Wings are Bobby Ryan from Ottawa and Troy Stecher, another good depth defenseman from Vancouver. And rookie which is coming up for the Red Wings, Lindstrom, and it was pretty low season, pretty low year for Dylan Larkin, 19 goals, 34 assists in 71 games played, but overall it was a very bad year for Detroit, so I think that these numbers, like 53 points in 71 games played for Dylan Larkin, I guess, when you consider how bad of a season it was for the whole organization from Detroit, I guess that these numbers aren't really that bad, but definitely more will be expected from Dylan Larkin this coming season. Okay, so Florida. Florida is also a very interesting team. They have been doing kind of well in the regular season, 17-18, 96 points, 18-19, 86 points, and 19-20, 93 points for Florida in the full 82 games schedule. So really the regular season was kind of good for Florida. Even the expectations for Florida were also pretty high in the last years, but just the Panthers were not able to convert them into good results, especially in the playoffs, but also in the playing round series, especially last season, they were just crushed by the Islanders, so there was a huge blow for Florida. The power play for the Panthers last season, 21%, that was 10th best in the league. Penalty kill, 78%, 20th in the league. The offensive part of the game, as you can see based on these statistics, was very good for Florida Panthers. Goals for 3.30, that was 6th best in the league, and goals against 3.25, that was 28th best in the league. So really the defensive part of the game not that good for Florida. The offensive part of the game, however, was pretty good for the Panthers. 6th best in goals for, 10th best power play. These are pretty solid numbers for the Panthers overall. But the biggest problem for the Florida will be a lot of players who just left. We know that Florida has been having some issues with the money in the recent years. They just claim that they are trying to save as much money as it would be possible. So I have a long list of names which left Florida. So basically it's the most notable probably Mike Hoffman, but also Yevgeny Dadonov left Florida, so that first line of Dadonov, Hoffman and Barkov is just completely crashed. Hoffman out, Dadonov out, the Barkov is the only one remaining. Then you have Mike Madison, which is just left, Eric Haula left, Colton Sevier left, Brian Boyle out, Lucas Volmerk out, Mark Pysyk out. So with this long of a list of players which left Florida, I think it will be a very, very tough season for Florida this coming year, 2021. With those players we just left, I think it would be very hard for Florida to get into playoffs, actually. The players which arrived, probably the most notable one from Pittsburgh, Patrick Hornquist. The other players, Vanberg and Nutivara, so two players from Columbus. Okay, the rookie which is coming up for Florida, probably the most notable one, Owen Tippett. So a lot will be expected also from Tippett. It will be his first season in the NHL, and it was pretty low year probably for Sergei Bobrovsky, only 90%. That was his 90% save percentage. That's pretty low for Bobrovsky. when he came from Columbus for that a wage of 10 million per year, definitely more was expected from the Russian goaltender. It wasn't a good year for Bobrovsky, and he has that also a couple of years left in his contract with Florida, so definitely more will be expected from Bobrovsky in this coming season and also in the next season to come. Okay, Nashville. Nashville is also a very, very interesting team. 17-18, a lot of points, 117. Actually, I do believe that in this season, 17-18, Nashville has won the Presidential Trophy, but we all know what the Presidential Trophy does mean. Really not that much in the playoffs. 18-19, it was 100 points for the Nashville Predators, and the season 19-20, it was 93 points the last season. So Nashville did get into the playing round series. Power play for Nashville, 17%, 24th best in the league, so not that good of a power play. This was also influenced by Viktor Arvidsson, of course, being out with a injury for a considerable amount of time, and also Arvidsson has had a low year overall. Penalty kill for Nashville, also not that good. The special teams have been a huge problem for the Predators in the last season. Just they have to improve their special teams. That's just a must. Penalty for Nashville Predators, 76%, 29th best in the league. Goals for 3.07, that's 16th best in the league. Goals against 3.10, 20th in the league. So they have to improve all of these statistics when they want to compete with these other teams in this division, especially with the likes of Tampa Bay Lightning and Carolina and probably Dallas, Columbus. I think they have to improve these statistics, just that's the must. Okay, which players left Nashville? The most notable one, probably Nick Bonino, and other players, Kyle Turris, Watson, and Han Hughes. Players which came, the most notable one, probably Luke Canyon from Minnesota. Other players which came, Mark Borowiecki from Ottawa and Eric Haula from Carolina. And also Mikael Granlund, just as a UFA, he signed a new contract with Nashville. So we could consider also Mikael Granlund as a new player which came in. The rookie for Nashville coming out is Tomasino, definitely a great player. He has scored just yesterday a goal in the World Juniors against Slovakia. A really nice goal from a breakaway for Tomasino. So I think that he's definitely a great prospect for the Predators. And it has been a low season, as I have said earlier, for Viktor Arvidsson. The small Swedish player has registered 15 goals and 13 assists in 57 games played. Of course, the major issue for Arvidsson have been injuries in this last season. Arvidsson for a considerable amount of time was injured, and then even when he came back, he just wasn't fully fit, and that's why he had that very low point totals in this last season. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Stanley Cup champion, the last team on this board. Of course, the West Division should be pretty strong because you have here the two teams which reached Stanley Cup finals in this last season. So definitely a pretty strong division. It's Central, of course. It's not West, it's Central. But it should be pretty strong division. 17-18 for Tampa Bay Lightning, 113 points. The last season, 18-19, it was 128 points. They tied the best Detroit Red Wings season, the best in the history of the NHL. So a great season by Tampa Bay Lightning, but as I have said earlier, a great upset by Columbus Blue Jackets, winning that first round playoff series 4-0 against Tampa Bay Lightning. That was just, as I have said earlier, one of the biggest upsets in the sport's history. Then the season 19-20, so the last season, 108 points. It was expected for Tampa Bay Lightning to reach after the full 82 games schedule. So as you can see, 108 points, a lower point totals than the last season and a lower point totals than the two seasons before. But as I have said earlier, regular season doesn't really matter in the playoff hockey. Just the main The main thing for you is to get into playoffs, and then from that point anything could happen. So Tampa Bay Lightning power play 23%, averaging 5th best in the league. Penalty kill 81%, 14th best in the league. The goals for the best in the whole of NHL, the best offense for Tampa Bay Lightning, averaging 3.47 goals scored per game, just great numbers. And goals against 2.77, 8th best in the league, so pretty good as well. Let's see who is out for Tampa Bay Lightning, because as we all know, Tampa Bay Lightning is having some issues with the cap, so they have to maintain it, because right now I do believe they are also right now, even with Nikita Kucherov on the LTIR, I do believe they are also above that cap. So salary cap, so they would also have to make some adjustments even in the coming days. So which players are out for Tampa Bay Lightning? Kevin Shattenkirk, Zach Bogosian, and Jan Rutta, probably the most notable ones. Nobody. There is no player called Nobody. That's just like nobody is coming into Tampa because of the salary cap issues. As I have said earlier, when you win a Stanley Cup, it is expected that you have a pretty good team, and a pretty good team means a pretty large amount of money that you have to spend on it. So Tampa Bay Lightning in some cap trouble. So right now, actually, they gained Marian Gaborik and Nilsson in the recent days, but Marian Gaborik and Nilsson will not be playing. They will just straight go on the LTIR. So Tampa even now making some adjustments. Rookie coming up for Tampa, Nolan Foote. Interesting young rookie definitely, and low season it was for probably Sergachev, the young Russian defender. 10 goals and 24 assists for Sergachev in the 70 games played, so I think he's capable of definitely scoring a little bit more. But yeah, that's just all for Tampa Bay Lightning. Definitely one of the biggest Stanley Cup favorites even for this coming season. So that's just it. That's just your whole preview for all of the 8 teams of the Central Division for the upcoming season 2021. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, definitely please subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, guys, and leave a like down below. And yeah, stay safe. That's the most important thing right now. And I will talk to you again probably quite very soon. So bye, guys, till now, and stay safe. Bye, guys.